Hello, good morning. Today is what? Thursday already. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. April 4th, 2019, and it's a cloudy day. Great cloudy day. So, talk about your English, talk about things that I've been studying, talk about things that I've been doing. Yesterday, I planned on recording a bunch of videos for new beginner English course that I've been developing for my Brazilian students, teaching in Portuguese to help them get past the beginner stages. So I worked on that for a bit in the morning, and then in the afternoon I worked on creating some new YouTube videos on introductions and making presentations. So hopefully we'll get some new videos up over the next day or two. So this is a fun project. I'm enjoying it. It's interesting because, a lot of times we know we need to do something, we want to do it, but we don't do it, right? And a lot of things that we don't want to do, we end up doing. So I was in MentorBox last night taking a look at Charles Duhigg's course on the power of habit, and it was interesting because he was talking about habit loops, the fact that we have things that cue us into doing the things that we do, and then we do them, and then we get that reward. So basically we do things without thinking, which can be good or bad, right? Because I think he said something like 45% of what we do is habit. Habit can be good because it frees up cognitive thinking for us to focus on things that are important. It frees up the non-important things so we can focus on the important things. So things like tying your shoe, driving to work, taking a shower, getting dressed. Our mind's free to focus on other more important things. And it can be good, but it can also be bad because a lot of the habits that we have are negative, right? So we were talking about the fact that habits are cued by 5 things: time, they come up at a specific time; the environment, what's going on around you; the people that you're around; emotions, like biting your nails. So that usually people who bite their nails do so because they're bored or they're tense. And the reward is that when people bite their nails, they feel pain, and our brains would rather feel pain than feel bored or feel tense. So how do you overcome those habits, change them? First of all, you got to identify, become self-aware of what it is that you're doing that you don't want to do, and force yourself to become aware of that by cueing it. So how do you do that? Every time you feel like you want to bite your nails, or you bite your nails, take out a piece of paper and might make a check mark. So you might bite your nails 10 times but only have 2 check marks on there because you aren't even consciously aware of what you're doing. But over time, a day or 2 or 3, as you make your cues, you're going to start becoming aware of the emotion that you're feeling. What's going on when you do that? When do you bite your nails? Is it at a certain time? Is it when you feel a certain emotion? Is it when you're around certain people? And begin to pay attention to what it is that you're doing and why. So why are you biting your nails? Why are you going to eat a cookie, like he says, every afternoon at 3:15? And then find out what it is what reward you're getting from it, and replace it with something else. So I noticed that there are a lot of habits that I have that are good, but they lead into something that's not so good. For example, I record the YouTube videos, so I upload a lot of YouTube videos and do stuff on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. But every time I go in there, if I'm not careful, I end up, wasting time doing other things. So that's something I need to pay attention to, not wasting so much time. Replacing the negative habits with positive, and developing more positive habits to support the things that I want to do. So that's something I've been thinking about last night, this morning, after watching Charles Duhigg's session on his book, The Power of Habit. And it's interesting, so check out the book. Take a look at MentorBox if you want to watch the video as well. And what about you? How about the habits that you have in your life? Have you noticed, or do you know of any negative habits, things you do that you don't like, that you want to replace? Or are there positive habits that you want to develop? And how can you do that using the Q habit reward session? So go ahead, I'd like to hear from you. Leave a comment, let me know, and I'll try to update you from time to time as I discover new habits that I'm trying to form, or things that I've managed, habits that I've managed to break. So I think this will be an interesting experience. So relating this to your English studies, when you have a goal, you want to learn to speak fluent English, you want to get a higher score on the IELTS or the TOEFL, you want to improve your pronunciation, whatever it is, what are the things that are going to help you get there? Right? What kind of things can you do to achieve that? If it's developing your pronunciation, improving your pronunciation, take a text with the audio, listen to it, practice saying it, then go back, listen to it again, and correct and improve your pronunciation, which will help you, improve your pronunciation skills. So for example, like, this is what one guy that I met did. He would watch John Wayne movies. They were on those VHS tapes. So he would actually watch the video, learn what the actor was going to say, then he would go back and say it, and then listen to it again. So for example, here would say, John Wayne say something like, I don't know, freeze, punk, put your arms up, put your hands up, right? So he would say it, freezy, punky, put your hands up, for example, right? And then he would go back and listen to it again. So John Wayne would say again, freeze, punk, put your hands up. So he would go back. So he would find a sound that he wasn't producing correctly, and he would keep practicing that sound until he could say it just like the actor did. And interestingly enough, by the time I met him, he had already perfected his accent. It was so good that he actually sounded like a native speaker. When I first met him, somebody introduced me to him. We started talking in English. I thought he was an American. I didn't even think that he was Brazilian. And so I asked him where he was from, and he said Brazil. I was surprised. I asked him how long he lived abroad. He said, no, I've never lived abroad. He had gone to New York for like 10 days, but other than that, he had said he'd never traveled outside of the country, and yet he managed to develop his pronunciation really, really well. So how can you do this? First of all, developing habits, like having, as we talk about the concept of planning, organizing, getting your materials prepared ahead of time. So when you're in line at the bank, when you're at the supermarket, when you're in a place where you can be more efficient with your time. That's one. Be prepared. Number two, find places where you can practice speaking the language clearly and correctly, and develop that habit where you do it like at certain times in certain places around certain people, especially as you develop your network. There's so many things that you can do, and begin to do that consistently, So as part of your daily planning process, as part of your daily praxis, building those habits in you. I think it's interesting, as I talk about developing the praxis, the daily English praxis, as I talk about as I'm learning about habits and applying this stuff to my life, how all this stuff correlates. So the more you can do things consistently and develop habits in them, initially you'll feel that pull, that tug, like a rocket trying to take off out of gravity. When a rocket goes to the moon, 80-90% of the fuel is burned up right at the very beginning of the journey because gravity's so strong trying to pull it back down. So as the rocket reaches a certain point and breaks free from the Earth's gravity, it can fly fast, maybe even faster than it was in the beginning, but using a lot less fuel. So habits are the same way. Initially when you try to start a new habit, there'll be a lot of pull against the old way of doing things, the old habits, the old things that want to pull you back. But as you consistently continue doing them and break free, it becomes easier and easier, and then you begin to do it without even thinking about it. So consistency is key. Developing habits. If there's something you don't like, pay attention to it, make your check mark, cue it, find out what it is that you're trying to get out of that, your reward, and then find new ways to replace the old habits with the bad habits, with the new and the good habits. So that's it. Keep doing your daily English practice. If you know where you are, you know where you want to go, you have your action plan, continually doing those 5 things every day. If you need help, let me know. Be happy to help you get clear on your goals, level test to find out what level you're at, help you improve your English, and let me know in the comments below what kind of habits you want to build into your life, new positive habits, and what kind of old negative habits you want to break. All right, guys, so that's it for today. Gonna go. Lots of work to do. We're gonna have some fun. So I will see you around. Bye-bye.